Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Uh-huh. Want some candy?
Beware of the blob, it creeps.
There you go.
It leaps inside.
Now I hear it.
Sides across the floor. And the door and all over the wall. Watch the camera.
Oh, this is how this episode is starting.
Beware of the blob.
What's up, everybody? You blobby motherfuckers. We're back.
Blob.
Monster Candy Podcast is back. Gucci T is in person. Beware of the blob.
Hey guys,
Why isn't that song more involved on like Halloween playlists? Like it goes.
should be.
At that.
it's so good. Why don't more bands cover it?
Because
We're not
people
talented
are
enough.
lame. Anyway, everybody, welcome
Yeah.
back. It's your favorite horror host, the Monster Candy Crew.
Do you remember us?
Yeah, Oubliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb. Gucci
Have you
T,
been
Mike
thinking
Terry.
about us?
Gucci T, Mike Terry from the Jukebox Romantics, and myself, Screamin E from the Memphis Murdermen. Terry
There's
is
a
out.
lot of hugging going on right now. There's some bromance
There's a little brewing.
brewing.
Gay. Anyway, guys, yeah, it's the Remake Rumble you never knew you needed, but you're gonna get. We're gonna do the Blobs, 1958 and 1988.
Boy, are you gonna get it?
You are gonna get it. But before we get into any of that stuff, it's time to talk about some. That's right, little bitches. It's horror news brought to you by Time Bomb Toys, located at 300 Camp Horn Road in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Check them out online or in person.
Just won the award for best hand jobs in the entire state of Pennsylvania.
So,
Are we recording?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we started a while ago.
Yeah. We made sure.
Just made sure.
Yeah,
So-
thank you.
So a little bit of horror news involving Bob from Time Bomb Toys. So I was visited back home recently, and there
Mhm.
was the Horror Realm HorrorCon there.
Mm-hmm.
Small con, but they always get like a lot of good guests. Like the Terrifier people were there, minus Damien Leone and David Thornton. Yeah,
Howard
Thornton. But everyone else, there was a whole bunch of people there. Darcy, some wrestlers, like it was a whole thing. Anyway, Bob got a new nickname, Bobby Bourbon.
Bobby Bourbon. Uh oh. What happened?
Oh, he was fucking drunk.
Was people giving him bourbon, or was he bringing?
Oh no, he had it there,
Oh.
but it was awesome. Like he was just, we started talking about him starting a band
Okay.
called Bobby Bourbon and the Bottle Service. So
BBBS.
I saw the picture of him holding the bottle, and I was like, oh, they're having a little fun times over there.
Are the horror cons? This is going to lead into other news. Are horror cons like notorious party cons?
I mean, they can be for sure.
Okay,
I mean, this one was for some people.
that's what I'm saying. Like, do people like they treat them as like a meetup of the community?
Oh yeah.
I've never been to one. I've been to a
really?
convention, but never gone to like a specific horror one. So I was wondering if there's people that only see each other at these conventions, and it's like a family reunions-esque kind of weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like especially, I mean, at least for me, Monster Palooza, because it's Southern California, and I'm rarely there unless it's like for a show or something. But
Sure.
there's people I only see
Yeah.
at that convention or those conventions. So
Right. So
There's
it's kind of
definitely-
a reunion.
yeah, and
Cool.
for this one too, because you get to see a lot of the same vendors and everything.
Mm.
But yeah, Bobby Bourbon, 12 o'clock, you fucking jaunt to Permani Brothers to get some.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I want some Permani Brothers.
Oh my God, he was talking about it all night. I'm hungry. Let's go to Permane Brothers. And
The original? No, is there like only there's like a bunch of them, right?
it's a chain now.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
But it'll
I feel like it's a staple. Whenever I'm in the Berg, I always go to this one Italian restaurant that's so good. They have the best Zeppelis of my life there. Now I'm gonna need a sponsorship for them. It's like it's really good. Before the end of the episode, I will figure it out the name of it. But it's in the cool part of town, the hipstery part of town, probably.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a few now.
If you start naming neighborhoods,
Bloomfield.
nope.
Squirrel Hill. There's Oakland.
Nope.
Shout out to the O. R.I.P. The O was the best giant ass pizza, like super cheap, just huge fries. Anyway,
I'll figure it out.
We're Millvale.
Nope, not that far.
I don't know.
I'll figure it out. But that's
UGT
cool.
will figure it out.
That's cool. When you were just there.
Yeah, a few weeks ago when Oubliette was here rocking out
I know,
with Tsunami Bomb.
We'll never get to. I got it. That's the name of it. The Anoia.
Yes, I was rocking out.
Dianoia's Eatery.
Oh, on Penn Avenue. Yeah.
This place was fire. So good.
Oubliette was rocking out.
Yep,
You
rocking out. I
saw it.
was. I was rocking all the faces.
I know, you're a busy bee.
You were. You're definitely a busy bee.
Which is crazy because I sleep 8 to 12 hours a night.
Man, I would love to know what that feels.
It feels like nice and relaxing.
Children don't let you do that.
I do not have any children, and I maybe get to sleep 5 hours a night, 6 hours a night.
I mean, I get woken up because my dogs are fucking crazy and my husband wakes up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, but I just go back to sleep.
No. Oh. Anybody got news? I got news that rolled into
your
Bob news.
Go for it. We haven't seen each other in a while, so we're talking shit.
Yeah, I've got fucking news too, man.
Okay, so this news, horror convention wise, Eli Roth launches the Horror Section production studio and invites fans to become investors. This news came in just hot off last night from before we're recording this. And I don't know much about it, but I only know a little bit about it because the only other horror podcast I listen to beyond ours, one of the hosts, I guess, is the creator of this thing, which is kind of funny. And his reasoning behind it was he goes to lots of horror conventions and he's like, I feel like there should be the horror community should have more of a say in horror movies getting made.
Oubliette, you guys can't see, but Oubliette has the biggest, like, just smile of I don't even know what.
Now that is the production company in a nutshell. However, to me, if you do a little bit of digging, it does seem some sort of like money making scheme.
What's up, Oubliette? You just had so much joy looking at me and Terry sitting next to each other.
You know what I did. I saw your face and you saw what I did. I took the most beautiful picture I've ever taken. And I'm thinking about going into possibly like wedding and engagement photography after the shot I just took. So
amazing.
You guys are staring at each other's eyes and you're just, you know, looking
close to the microphone. And
you're looking hopeful and like so like endearing.
I'm so used to
inspired. It's just
wait.
Beautiful.
Just wait.
Just go to you guys will see it on our Instagram because I'm going to definitely make a story of it, like highlight it so it stays forever.
Just wait for the time I travel back to visit and I'm like, guys, I'm coming up to New York. Let's do it.
3-person podcast. We should do it.
It's going to be it's going to be dirty.
We should do it on stage somewhere. We should sell tickets.
What kind of venue are we?
Or it'd have to be a brewery. Something. Somewhere that's too loud.
A dive bar in the corner.
Yeah. Snappers would let us do it.
Oh yeah. We're gonna pick a quiet part of the day.
I mean, I don't know. That sounds cool, but
my old bar used to do it. They used to have a book podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Beer and
books. We're kind of private, you know?
Yeah. We like the anonymity and not anyone getting in our shit.
I invite the chaos.
But anyway, back to your horror news.
Oh yeah, so Eli Roth
yeah.
is starting
Yeah.
another production company with a horror fan who I guess worked somewhat related in the industry and is a podcaster. And it's supposed to be for horror movies and other horror projects, video games, comic books. It seems like it's all in one studio that seems like very crowdfunding DIY based on the outside of it. And I just think it's just a very broad idea. Something that's like a little too open-ended right now. But
Yeah.
apparently they filed all the paperwork and it's like on the up and up when it comes to like how the investment works, stuff like that. So if you're into investing into horror movies, I would check out the Eli Roth's new company with John Schnars called what is
John Snars.
that's the guy's
Sounds
name?
like a Dr. Seuss character.
Jonathan Schnars.
The snars upon Nars.
The horror section, a new all-encompassing horror media company. So
The Snars Bar. The Snars Bar.
sounds like something.
Does it smell like snarsberries?
Who's ever heard of a schnozberry? But yeah, it's basically horror fans becoming investors, almost like Kickstarter, it sounds like, but like a more focused, larger scale thing. And I think they said that they were really inspired because of Terrifier, because something that has such a small budget that was very much fan focused, doing so well. So it could turn into something cool. You know, Eli Roth's made some good movies, made some bad movies. So
I mean, one, I'm definitely not interested in giving anyone in Hollywood any money for anything aside from watching movies. But it always cracks me up when these. I mean, I'm sure Eli Roth isn't swimming in like $100 million, but
as a working class poor,
yeah,
I'm not giving them any money.
I'm like, dude, you're way richer, way more rich than most people. You don't need investors.
Maybe he's run out of people who want to invest in his movies. So now this is where we're at.
He could always get Danzig to invest in
That's
something.
true. That's true. Oh my God. Remember the Danzig movie?
Do we need to do that? Well, which one?
Ugh.
I
The
want
most recent one.
the
Wasn't there
vampire one.
Wasn't there like 4 movies in one?
He's done a bunch, but
The vampire one.
It's,
That's yeah.
it's so bad. Like it's
I
so.
don't know if I can.
I stopped halfway through. I didn't.
Yeah.
I powered through the entire thing and it never got any better.
It was like a porn without the
Yeah,
sex.
it was so bad. But anyway, yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
horror news. Horror section.
All right.
Check it out. The news just dropped on it. So pretty
Yeah,
cool.
if you're interested in something
Yeah.
like that. Ooh,
Okay. Yeah. I've got 3, but one's super quick. And one uses a term called interquel, which I would like to say, go fuck yourself. It's not a prequel or a sequel, but it's just like, let's snap it right in the middle.
Right.
And that's the first one. Whoop, that's quick. Saw 11 has been canceled.
Oh no.
I know one of the people from it's from our thing tonight, so it seemed to make sense to bring it up, which I could not
Charlene?
believe. Yeah, it's so funny. I just remembered her as the pregnant girl from Summer School,
Yeah.
not the bad guy from
That's the
Saw.
same person?
Yeah, and she looks identical as in the Blob. The whole time I'm like, where do I know her from? Where do I know her from? I'm like, fuck yeah, Summer School and the John Candy detective movie. Or no, Harry Crumb.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And the stand and
Wow. I can't believe she's
Yeah.
in summer school.
But I didn't recognize her from Saw because she looks so different. Like
Yeah.
she didn't age great. Anyways, not to talk about but it could just be her character in Saw. She's crazy.
She saw
So-
she plays like a methy. She's a little methy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's probably great. So Saw 11 has been canceled. It was supposed to be released this September as an interquel.
dude, there's 10 of them.
Yep.
That's
Dude,
crazy.
all right.
Yeah.
Saw movies,
So-
if you follow the storyline, it's a bit wacky. But they, as a franchise that has 11 movies in them, not that bad as a whole.
Wait, wasn't the Chris Rock one? Wasn't that a Saw one?
Not good.
Yeah.
That's from the book
Yes.
of Saw.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah,
it is-
that was not good. That was
Not
so
at all.
the
disappointing.
one that
and
came out last year
I
was
saw that in the
pretty
theater
good.
too.
Yeah.
Was it?
Ooh.
The one from last year was pretty good.
Interesting.
Starts a little slow. It's like the guy who plays John Kramer, goes to Mexico to like fix his
Do you
illness.
Mexico?
Oh, that's right. I read the synopsis. It did
It's a
sound
it's a prequel, I think.
interesting. No, I think I might have watched it late one night.
It's real. It's actually really good. But
It's about
I'm
why
a-
he started it.
right, and I'm kind of bummed
Yeah.
because it was good enough, and that actor is very good. The guy who plays Jigsaw, and he's old. And they were like, as long as he wants to do them, we'll keep doing them because like
Hmm.
he gets joy out of it and he's good at it. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
cool. Like if that's what he wants to do, as he's getting, very much like getting closer to like the end of his life.
Right.
But now that you
Mhm.
said it's canceled, I'm kind of bummed for him and in general.
I hope he doesn't listen to this and he's like, "Am I getting close to the end of my life?" Like,
He's the one who said that.
Why are they talking about me like this? Sure, Terry. Sure. Okay, next one.
Yes.
It's a film that's playing at South by right now, and it's called Good Boy.
Okay.
I heard about that.
So, and apparently, it's kind of been the like underdog. See what I did there?
Uh-huh.
That everyone's been very impressed by at the festival. And so it's a like poltergeisty ghost movie, but the whole perspective is from a dog in a house and how he wants to protect his owners from this like bad entity.
Is it a comedy?
So they don't say it is, but the pictures that I've looked at and the reviews like are quick little quotes. People use things like spirited, adorable, things like that. So I think that it's at least somewhat funny or lighthearted.
I feel like that's the approach to take in this situation.
Yeah.
I wonder why there hasn't been more movies from like an animal's point of view.
Like it's Skinamarink. It's not like
Yeah.
no, but like that's the extreme, right? Like
Yeah.
you could make it
Right.
an art house dog
Totally.
poltergeist movie and it'd be terrible. But that's why that's why I was asking if it seemed lighthearted fun because that's the approach I think would be the most successful.
Well, and it's funny because like, so here's a couple of the quotes from, people in the industry. A really creative take on a well-trod genre with a lead that stirs the emotions and invests you like no other movie I've ever seen. Another one, what could have easily been a cheap gimmick, instead provides the foundation for one of the best horror films I've ever seen.
Ever?
Mhm. Yeah, and like it's interesting. All the pictures I've seen of it, there's like a very like vivid kind of blue haunted house color palette. So I think whoever did this movie is definitely like thinking of it from that. And all the shots you'll see like people's legs, but then you'll see it from like the dog's eye level. And the dog's eyes are always kind of solid black, but like really kind of like protective, but watching. Like it looks like it could be yeah, it looks like it could be really fun and cool. Like I've always appreciated in the haunted house genre them bringing dogs into it because dogs hear different frequencies, see different things, and that can be really a scary thing. But I think in this one they might be pulling on your heartstrings a little bit. But people do mention the ghosts in the haunted house and stuff. But it seems like a fun, cool movie.
I think
I don't know.
I could just picture scenes right now of the dog barking, like he's right there, Fox.
Yeah.
He's barking.
Yeah.
And they're like why is
No,
he, what's he
totally.
barking at? like
Yeah.
it's a great idea. I think and if everybody's saying it's one of the standouts of South by, I think it's a good thing because I feel like this year after having a pretty good year last year, I think so far things are not that great in the 2025 movie realm.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I hope there's
And all the remakes and everything, like
oh dude.
please, like think of something new. And we love Good Boys. So
Yeah, that sounds great.
Well, I hope it has
You wanna
perspective
see
like
it.
all those videos where they like I strapped a GoPro to my cat.
Oh, right,
and
right,
I'm
right,
running
right.
around everywhere. I hope there's some of that in it.
There's got to be, right?
Oh, I'm sure there will be. Like the pictures have been kind of that perspective, but I'm sure they'll show first person
Right.
or first canine perspective.
Yeah, first canine.
So in that, recognizing a new idea, we're going to talk about a remake that they're saying isn't a remake, it's a reboot. And that is, there is a new Anaconda, and it is Paul Rudd and Jack Black.
Oh Jesus.
I saw
Christ.
pictures of them filming that. Like they were on set doing something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, but
You
don't
only
worry,
go up.
guys. Paul Rudd confirmed it won't be a direct remake of the cult classic. It is an original horror title. They're following a group of characters who are certainly inspired by the original, but are definitely not the same people.
This is pretty
Like,
pretty
unless
funny.
it's something like Tropic Thunder,
I think,
like I don't like it's gonna be Paul Rudd being Paul Rudd,
yeah,
Yeah,
Jack Black being Jack Black, so it's gonna be kind of corny.
sure.
yeah.
Not
There'll
that
be some
they-
J-Lo butt jokes in it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is being done by the director who did The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent,
Okay, so I can see where that's going.
which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And that kind of comedy could
Did I hear
work with
correctly?
it.
Did I hear somewhere that this movie is an R?
Yes.
Because Jack Black was cursing, I think, on set or something. They were both cursing about this movie.
Yeah, this is
So-
an R.
I think that makes it have a better shot.
I don't know. I'm just not the biggest Jack Black fan.
Oh, but if you think about Tropic Thunder, if you use
Yeah.
that as the example, that movie is an R, and that's a fun movie.
That movie is awesome.
Right. So
Yeah, that movie could not be made today.
Yeah.
Neither could Anaconda, actually. I don't know how long it's been since you've seen it, but there's some
Oh, is
stuff in it
is
that
there?
I don't think people would have done today.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, Ice Cube is.
I mean, it's just tropes. It's tropes, yeah, and a lot of it has to do with.
Yeah.
No, was that Ice Cube or LL Cool J in that one?
Ice Cube.
LL Cool Jason.
What's the one with LL Cool J with the parrot?
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
My head is like a shark fin.
Yeah.
That was the single. Deepest bluest. My head is like a
Yeah,
shark.
that's yeah. So yeah, that's my horror news. There are several other remakes that just popped up and other things, but I will talk about them on the next episode.
Okay.
I have 3 more remakes in my horror news to talk about.
All
Because that's what people do now. Because why would you do anything else? And that's why we're doing a remake Rumble. Because that's what people do. They remake
Exactly.
movies.
Right.
So I guess because 2 of mine are about remakes. I'll mention one, but not.
You might as well just do them all. It's a remake Rumble.
Should
But
you?
anyway, first, real news. So Night of the Living Dead is getting an official story of the film book released in September. So that will be cool. If anyone's interested in knowing how it came to be, where it came from, who was in it, how they did it, check that out.
Is there no documentary about it?
There's a bunch of stuff, but this is like an official,
yeah.
Whatever that means.
For those of us who don't like to read. Is there
Yeah. I mean, so yeah. So I mean that'll be a cool book. But again, there's a million
Sure.
other books that have people talking through it and people that were in it. Anyway, so that'll be cool. Check out that. We'll be dropping September 30th this year. I won't talk about the one remake. We'll save that for the next one. One of my other ones is so in the summer, Jaws is getting a
Oh, I saw this.
a 50th anniversary release in theaters. So be on the lookout for that.
Hey, I
August
hope you
29th through September 4th.
That's what I
We
was
should
gonna ask you.
we should all just like fly to the middle of the U.S. and meet.
Hell yeah.
Nowhere near water.
Yeah. No,
Exactly. We will leave the coast to go to the most landlocked area of the United States to watch Jaws.
And we should
And,
order.
we'll be safe.
We should eat sushi since there's no water nearby either.
so,
Oh, you're pressing your luck.
So you say June 29th? You said June 29th?
August 29th through September 4th.
Damn it. I was going to ask you if it was going to be like a long release, not less
No,
than 4 days.
they never do that. Ever. They should.
Like, if they would just do like, we're going to release Jaws back in theater every weekend for the summer, that'd be
Right.
cool.
Or for like the month, not
Sure.
4 days. So
Yeah.
and the show times are always like
Dude.
4:30 and 7
don't
o'clock.
even fucking
Yeah,
tell me.
5:50.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
as music people and people with families, like I try to see the Miyazaki movies every year because they do like the different ones every month.
Right.
You're like, all right, you could see the Japanese version at like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday,
Yeah.
or you could see it at 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday. I mean, fuck.
Yeah. So there's that. And then can we talk about the Dink?
Go on. It's guys. It's
The Dinklage.
Well, I don't know what he said or did. But all I know is that his Toxic Avenger movie is now going super mainstream because I see everybody talking about it. So it's getting
Right.
hyped big time now.
Okay, look, I'm just convinced no one has an opinion until they're told it, or many people, just like in like whatever, politics, fucking
Sure.
movies, especially horror, they're like, oh, there's two thoughts. People either love this or like, dude, I think it looks awesome, which it doesn't, or
Like,
this
with
looks
the
fucking terrible.
costume?
The costume. I guess it could look awesome if you're into a very kids versus aliens, goosebumpy, like cartoony man in a rubber suit. Sure, it would
Like
look awesome.
Psycho Gorman?
Right, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
Mm, yeah.
If that's what you're into, fine.
Sure.
But as a remake of the original Toxic Avenger, sure he had like a mask, but he was just a giant, dirty looking guy that had some prosthetics on his face. And then in the later sequels, like it became like a whole fucking
Cartoony thing.
mask, and we get it, but there was still some semblance of realness, like, oh, this guy's fucking grotesque. This just looks like the little alien guy in the beginning of Night of the Creeps when they throw the fucking space slugs out the thing, or in fucking Critters. Like it
looks very 80s garbage pail kitty.
yes.
It like looks very over the top.
Yes. And people were like, oh, I love how they spun the narrative though, that like this hasn't come out because it's too violent. That's not the reason, guys. I'm going to tell you right now. Sure, it's probably violent, but it's bad.
It's probably gonna be corny, right?
I would assume so.
People are sharing that movie poster though, like it's fucking
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out next week.
It's such a weird push that I'm like, this isn't real. The people pushing this can't be real because
Yeah.
this is the best thing ever. This looks so good. I'm like, does it though?
It might go back to what we were saying earlier, how there's just not a lot of coming out on the horizon. Like that there are new movies coming out. I watched the whole thing the other day of like 10 movies that are coming out this year, and a bunch of them looked all right, like original ideas.
Right.
But there's nothing that the studios seem really strong about.
No.
And so the fact that this is getting released now after we heard it wasn't shows me that they're like, fuck, we really have nothing to like coming out this year.
Yeah.
And maybe 2026 will be a good year. And so this year is like, let's just get this shit out.
Right.
Instead of it sitting around.
For sure. And them trying to spin it as it was too violent to put it out makes zero sense considering there's been 3 Terrifiers.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of other super gory.
Is Trauma
violent
involved in
shit.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, they are?
So of course he wants
Yeah.
to put
I
that
mean,
shit out.
yeah. They have to be to some degree because Lloyd Kaufman keeps sharing.
Yeah,
like,
it's his baby,
so,
right?
Right. So I'm
And
sure.
he's only doing it because of the money.
Right. But it just looks like.
It's the only movie that made him money, right? I think that's what he says.
What are you talking about? Fucking Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD didn't make him $1 million.
Like Nukem High has a cult following, but like,
What, Cecil B. Demented? Come on.
okay,
That soundtrack? Jesus Christ. Come
Romeo
on.
and Juliet, come on, dude.
Poultrygeist, I know.
Yeah.
We can go on and list all the classics, but what I'm saying is Toxic Avenger had a cartoon.
Yeah.
It has toys.
Yeah.
It has fucking like pop culture recognition. Like people who don't like the shit that we like know who the fuck the Toxic Avenger is.
Right.
Not everybody, but a good amount of people.
Right.
So they're like, we're going to do Toxic Avenger. And with Peter Dinklage, and he's got some pull, right? Like he has some say in things. And so maybe he fought for this to be released and they were like, we can make some money with it. I don't
know. I don't know.
I'm going to see it.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Scar.
It could be like Cats level bad.
Scar sent me a message the other day, like as soon as the picture came out. She was like, what the fuck? This looks fucking terrible. I mean, I'm still gonna see it,
How
but
did they
dude,
make
I'm
him
pissed.
tall? He's tall though.
Dude, yeah. I don't know.
And that's the real question. He said he's a normal sized person.
We'll see. But yeah, that looks bad. And it's just remake after remake. And there's other remakes we'll talk about in the next episode. But yeah. Season of the remake for like the last 2 years.
Correct.
But yeah. But that's all I got.
The season of the remake.
Yeah. Seasons, apparently. Anyway, that's all I got. Anyone got anything else?
Nope.
No, I'm holding it.
All right.
Holding it in
Yeah.
for the next one. Tightly.
It's turtling.
Edging us over.
Mhm,
right.
exactly.
All right, guys, that's been all right. The remake rumble of the Blob
This
squared.
is my first remake Rumble.
It is.
Oh, welcome, sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
You missed it. Mills was supposed to be on it. I sent him a message and he just never responded because he's our usual Remake Rumble guy.
Let's
But
do it.
Money Mills had not opened the message, so I don't know.
I mean, I think he just had his 8th kid, so
Jesus Christ.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
not really, but I think, what, 6 now? 5? I
6,
don't
8,
know.
12.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nope.
We're not sure.
once you get
We aren't
past
sure.
3, I think it's just it's all relative at that point.
I don't know. I have 2 and I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Science is making.
I mean, yeah, I have none, but as I've gotten older and I look back, I'm like, man, we were hard on my mom. She had like, a
yeah.
teenager, preteen, and almost preteen at my age. Like, fuck, no, that's not true. At my age, she had like a 21-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 4. Yeah, no, I
No,
would be
thank you.
fucking crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Let's do it.
1958 Blob, directors Irvin S. Yeaworth Jr., Russell S. Doughton Jr., and then the 1988 remake, director Chuck Russell.
Same writers though, or isn't there somebody that's connected to both of them? Producer.
Yeah,
I believe there's part. The story of this is that the person, one of the producers from the 50s Blob, is somehow related to the 80s Blob.
Writers, the same writers.
Same writers.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Because that's a different thing for most remakes
Right.
and reboots.
So for anyone who hasn't seen either or one or the other, so the synopsis for the 58 one is an alien life form consumes everything in its path as it grows and grows. You know, typical 50s sci-fi movie, pretty simple. However, the 1988 remake, a deadly entity from space crash lands near a small town and begins consuming everyone in its path. Panic ensues. Shady government scientists try to contain the horrific creature.
Super 80s.
Dude, it was
Twist on it.
very 80s.
Yeah.
Which there's certain ways to do things. I think,
The hazmat suits.
yes, the 80s remake did it well. But we'll get into all that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the original, what we liked about it.
So I had, until we did this, I had only seen the original on like marathons for Halloween.
Right.
And so I've only seen it in bits and pieces. And so sitting down, I was expecting your very stereotypical 50s, xenophobic sci-fi, like, story of the week, kind of Twilight Zone vibe.
Right.
And this movie delivers way more than I expected it to. Yeah, it's not scary like the Blob itself. And yeah, it's like you're very like, pulpy kind of vibe right off the bat. But it delivers way more than I expected. And I would kind of think that their drama at the end of the 50s one might be better than the drama at the end of the 80s ones. Like just like in scope, in like emotion and scope.
Right.
But yeah, like a slower burn, but it's a product of its time. And beyond Steve McQueen being 27 playing a 17-year-old.
They're all so old.
Dude,
Oh my God. I had that in my notes because 27-year-olds back then looked like 48.
Dude,
So you're watching this movie and you're like, all these people are like about to like probably retire soon. Why are they high school kids?
Oops, you took the words out of my mouth. I said I was going to say he's 27 playing 17 looking 37. Maybe even 40, maybe even 47.
Yeah.
It's kind of unbelievable.
They're real leathery.
Yeah.
Real leathery.
We get the awesome Blob theme.
Yep.
And just this is like if you were going to show somebody like a B, sci-fi horror movie from the 50s, like this is in the top of like what you should watch. Like it's one of the better ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely agree. I mean, it's
interesting.
Cool. The premise is cool. It's just like a straightforward, here's an alien thing and it's attacking the city or the town.
Sure.
It's all you really need for the 50s. The effects for that time were cool. Like the Blob, me personally, I liked.
It was like a hard candy.
Yeah, it was like
It wasn't really see through. Like the other one's more like the '80s Blob movie is like opaque.
It looks like a blob.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. It's raspberry jam.
Yeah.
Like
It's like Pepto Bismol.
like jelly, you know. So I'm like, yeah, that's cool, especially for the fucking 50s.
Oh yeah.
Dude, come on.
It's
And
color graded correctly.
how I describe the 58 Blob is it has drive-in charm. This is a movie you would absolutely want to see at the drive-in. The theater scene rules when they all come running out. Like the premise is so simple.
Are they the first? I feel like you would know this, being an expert at this. Are they the first one to do the theater scene? I feel like that theater scene in the Blob 58 and in Blob 88.
Yeah,
they do it in the drive-in, and there is a theater scene. No, maybe it's both. But I feel like that is taken and reused it as a trope in horror movies.
Oh, dude, yeah.
They do it in Gremlins. They've done it in a million things, right? But is the Blob the first one? Because
no,
in my mind, I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a handful of other, because it's 58. I know there's some other ones that have used either drive-ins or like a movie theater. Maybe not like that.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty iconic.
Like in all like the giant alien monster, like giant ants, like that.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
There's like a drive-in scene, right? Where like the monster then shows up while someone's watching a movie, right?
Yeah, there's all stuff that's been used for sure before. I'll have to do more. We'll have to do more research and check it out. But I don't believe so.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the most memorable one, because when I think about it, I think of that.
Sure.
And seeing this in the theater, I saw it in the theater a few years ago.
Oh, cool.
Fucking rad.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
But yeah, there's nothing really that I didn't like about.
No, for like a 1958 horror movie, like in 2025, you know, and watching it back to back with the 1988, 30 years apart, it stands very strong. For a movie of its time.
For sure. What about you, Oobs?
So, having never seen either of them, on this first one, I liked the simplicity of it, which you see it in a lot of those movies back then. It had a very Twilight Zone kind of feel to it. They didn't add a whole lot of character building stuff. They just gave you what you needed to see. I love the old man at the beginning. I loved it actually on both movies. I love the old man at the beginning. It was like both were so overacted and silly. It kind of set the tone for the movie. I thought the cinematography was great. I thought they did a good job with the pacing. The first movie, I felt like the length was good.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one, I'll talk about that later. I just, I thought it was very interesting how it encapsulated the like fuck it vibe that there probably was back then. Like, the first time they hide and like, the dog is out there with the blob and the girl's stressed out about it. He's literally like, whatever, Jane, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, but there's, there's something you can do. You just don't want to do it. Luckily, the other kids said they saw the dog running down the street scared. And then like the diner scene when it's on fire, there are literally like hundreds of people out there, including firefighters. And everyone's just like, oh man, they're gonna die in this diner. This sucks. Whilst there is a small child and other people in the back of the diner, I was like, wait, they're just totally rationalizing watching these people burn alive, like no problem. Yeah. And then they call them and are like, it's the O2, like they hate the cold. And instead of being like, we're coming in to save you with these extinguishers we're going to go get from the high school or the hoses or whatever we fucking have, they're just like, thanks.
Yeah.
We're going to the high school to get the fire extinguishers.
Be right back.
To kill the blob.
Yeah, it's
not save you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The in the 50s one, that like a big difference is like it feels like it couldn't happen. Whereas like the 80s one, like it feels like never when you're watching the 50s ones does it feel like this is happening in a real world situation. Like, because
Right,
it's so, we are so removed even from the 1980s one. And now in 2025, when we're recording this, like as a people, that like that 50s one, when you're watching it, it's a different, it's more like watching a time capsule, right?
Oh, for
Like
sure.
it's like so
Yeah.
much has happened since then, even in between just the 50s one and the 80s ones, like the wars and Vietnam and all these other political things.
Which is only 30 years, and that's crazy.
Right. So if you think about if we made these movies now, it's like if we made Independence Day in
Right.
1995, and now in 2025 we made another Independence Day, it wouldn't
Yeah.
really feel that different.
No.
Right.
But so much technology has changed in 58 to 88
Yep.
that when you're watching the 58 one, it's kind of hard to really get too emotionally involved into it or believe, like really get sucked into it in the believability of it, because it feels like you're watching like a comic book kind of Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah.
Very stuck in it's very like
Yeah,
almost like
small
on stage.
It's a small town. There's 400 people
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
There's this thing that
Yeah.
this crazy thing that's happening
It-
that no one else is going to know
never
about.
Feels like the Blob in the 58 Blob is going to make it from that town to New York.
Yeah.
But like in the 80, with the 88 one, you're like, it conceivably, like if it takes over this town, it could make it to the next town and eventually, make its way across America.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like a big different point
For
in the
sure.
Yeah.
scope of the 58 Blob.
Yeah.
Where it never feels like it's going to be like huge in my mind.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, my one critique of the 58 one is, you mentioned it before, Terry, is that the pacing is good, but there's a part where it drags a little bit. And I feel like it's because of that kid.
Oh, yeah, sure.
The weird, like, I want a dog. And they like put him in these scenes. I'm like, to get this fucking nerd out of here.
yeah, he's there for like some emotional drag.
Right. And then
Yeah.
right towards the end, it gets when they're in.
Nobody cares about punk teenagers, E.
Right.
We don't.
Yeah.
He was
They're the
27.
dregs.
Yeah.
They're all trouble. You're talking about the little one. Yeah, you've had fun.
Yeah, the little one.
He was
Yeah.
27 too.
These are all
27.
trouble.
Yeah.
They're all trouble. They had to
He
put
is
the
trouble
kid in there
because
so
he
that people
fucking-
actually cared about it.
He's like, I want to go help. And then he runs in and gets into the diner with him. You're like, kid, what do you
Yeah.
go home? I want to help. Yeah. Whatever. But
What I did appreciate is there's a diner in each of the movies, and I
Yes.
like diners, so
yep, you definitely like diners. So yeah,
it seemed a branded choice.
And it's funny because when we talk about this, we have the same writer.
Yeah.
So he definitely took the things that he liked from the first one that he did and carried them over. They do the thing in the 88 Blob that every reboot should do, or remake should do, is you don't want to remake it shot for shot, and you don't want to make something completely new. There is a happy medium in there where they expanded upon things from the 58 one without totally bastardizing.
Right. Well, let's talk about the 88.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I loved about it that worked as a separate movie. If this was the only Blob, the government scientist twist, this is a bioweapon, absolutely works, especially for the time.
Oh yeah.
It does, but so many of the movies do that. Like, it
Yeah,
was so funny. The second, like, even before it hit, I was like, oh, the government's about to come in. They always come in.
Right. And that's
But I love that time is when people really started realizing it, like
Yeah.
after the world wars and everything else, and Vietnam, and they're like, yeah, fuck the government.
yeah.
But that's all those movies. That's the thing. That's the stuff. That's
Totally.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
those movies.
Yeah.
And of course that would happen.
Right.
We saw them come and take fucking ET. So like they are
Those motherfuckers, yeah.
that of course, and they're going to weaponize it. Right?
Exactly.
It's,
Exactly.
it's not only it's the government involved. They're also going to
Yeah.
weaponize it.
This was a
Well,
bioweapon.
in this one, the government invented it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Remember? And
It's
like it was a test that failed.
Yeah, it's a false idea that it's like a
Right.
alien thing, like the first movie.
Right. Which again, I love that they did that twist, but also just because we're so old now and we've seen it a million times. Back in the 80s, I was like, dude, this is fucking sweet.
Mhm.
But now, after watching both of them, while I do like that idea, I also like
It's played out for you at that.
I
We're like, yeah, we know the government's doing that. We live
Right.
this right now.
right.
Right, but I'll argue this then. I'll argue your guys' jaded view on this. For me, the Blob 88 is the first Blob that I saw.
Right.
And I saw it very young. And for me, it is a gateway horror movie because I didn't really see too many horror movies at a young age. And
Right.
this was on where we live in New York.
This would be a great first one or first
yeah.
few because
So
it's not like
It's
I'm
scary
never
and
going to sleep
gory.
again.
Right. It's scary and gory, and maybe as a kid you'd have a nightmare or two from the flesh eating skulls.
Yeah, but you'd want more.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the WPIX channel 11 in
Mhm.
New York was a afternoon movie all the time.
Wait, I like how different regions, different cities have the same letters, but they'll just be like, let's just switch this one.
Yeah, sure.
Because in Pittsburgh, it's WPXI.
But it's the same
Channel
channel
11. Yeah.
So WPIX, which is now the WB, or it was the CW or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
used to do the afternoon movies on Saturdays and Sundays, and this was the afternoon movie all the
yeah.
time. And I don't think it was edited too much for TV. Maybe some of the gore was taken out, but I wouldn't know because I was like 8. So
Yeah.
because I was only 2 years old when 88 Blob came out, so I didn't see it until it was on TV.
Yeah.
And honestly, the stuff that they cut out on regular TV, I don't think it killed the movie very many times in the 80s.
I would say that if they
Now more,
they
but
probably cut it out more for like television time.
Right.
Like
right.
runtime
Yeah.
stuff, and not so much for the gore because they probably didn't give a fuck about the gore back in '91 or whatever it was. But as a young person watching this movie, both of these movies, as 58 and 88, and I don't know if this is the writer's doing because it probably isn't because of the way the effects are, both play really well as like a family horror kind of movie. Like you could watch this fun for the all ages, even though 88 is so much darker and scarier. There is this whimsical fun about it.
Well, it's definitely like, it's got that 80s charm, and it's not so graphic that like you couldn't watch it as a 10-year-old.
It's I think
Right.
I was when I was driving here, I was like replaying the movie in my head, and I was thinking how I was such a wimp as a kid with horror movies, and
oh my God, I was the worst.
and 88 Blob, I was scared at times watching it, but I was never terrified, and I loved watching it because the effects in it work so well. 88
Mhm.
Blob, like the effects work so well that there are shots from 88 Blob that didn't get used that they used in Ghostbusters too. Did you know
Mhm.
that?
Mm,
It's
yeah,
like deleted CG. So that
Mhm.
just shows you how good the effects are. That a big ass budget movie like Ghostbusters 2 took the Blob, which also had a much, it had an 80 times, something like 80 times the budget as the 58.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah, it was 10 million. It was rumored to have 15 million, but the director said it was really 10.
the 88 one, not the,
Mhm.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, that's a lot of money.
If it was the 58 one, I'd be like, where'd the rest of that money go?
Yeah.
Steve McQueen.
Right up your nose. Which is funny. One thing about the original, you can see smoke behind Steve McQueen because he always had a cigarette behind his back during filming.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
And it
Makes
was so
sense.
funny because I didn't know that. And when I was watching it, there's a scene where like you can see it. So I Googled it being like the meaning of the smoke behind him because I thought it was some like, trying to be artsy shit. And they're like, oh no, he was someone who smoked like 10 packs a day. So even during shots, he'd have a lit cigarette and he'd just put his hand behind his back. And so some of the scenes you could see the smoke. And I was like, even better. 1958. Like, great.
Pretty good.
He always had to have that cigarette because he'd want to get too edgy and end up smacking some lady. Like,
Yeah, obviously. Woman brain.
yeah.
She looked at him the wrong way, said her lines the wrong way.
Yeah.
Some of
You
those
gotta have your
things carried over.
nicotine.
Some of those carried over into the 80s things too. There's some questionable things.
I mean, okay, Kevin Dillon's mullet, which
Distracting.
wasn't real though.
He almost didn't do the movie because of it.
Yeah, it
He
was a
got so
clip-on.
mad about it.
And
His mullet merkin.
part of me was a little hurt because when I was down at the last Monsterpalooza, I went to see Son of Monsterpalooza, or was it regular Monsterpalooza? Anyway, they did a panel.
You
And
do
Dill-
so many who counts,
Hey, yeah, who cares? Who knows?
Was he there?
They did a
Did
panel.
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
his mullet in glass?
No, but he talked about it, and that got brought up, and he disclosed that it was a clip-on. So I was a little bummed. I was
Same
It's
with
so
Shawnee. Her hair is fake in that.
Yeah,
The director demanded them have longer hair
yeah.
But why? Like,
Ah.
but like, okay,
because
two
they
things.
want him to be a dirtbag, and in that time, that was like a dirty hippie dirtbag.
Okay, but it's the 80s. Like, everybody's got
He's
their
riding the
haircut anyway.
motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he
Uh,
just grow his hair? He's an actor.
Yeah, but the other guys don't. Remember, the other
Right.
guys who go and get the condoms, they still have like the 50s and the
Slick back and
varsities.
Yeah.
You
But
got
here's
Very
something.
clean cut.
Here's something super cute. Aside, so Paul, the character Paul,
Poor Paul.
and yes, he took Shawnee Smith to the prom in high school,
Aw.
and he wrote her a thank you note afterwards, which she still has.
Well, that's sweet.
But I
Paul is
want to
the
know what
football player
I want.
The boy, the love interest that
who
gets
killed very early on.
Yeah. But I want to know is what she did to get a thank you letter. Who writes a thank you
Yeah.
after prom? But that's so cute.
Blobbed his knob, probably.
Glob is
Or
Yeah.
or maybe he sucked and it was like a pity date, and so he wrote her a thank you letter. Who knows?
Maybe.
Did you know
Who
that?
knows? We'll never know. But it's super adorable. And then years later, they're love interests in the Blob.
Did you guys know that the Blob was almost called the Glob?
I did not.
It was not going to
Really?
be called, originally it was going to be called the Glob. And they changed it because they said it didn't sound scary enough.
Right.
And if it was called the Glob, I don't think we'd be talking about it.
No, definitely not as scary as the Blob.
Or we might. We might
yeah.
be.
The
Yeah.
Glob is not scary at all.
A glob is
You're going to glob it up. The Glob is so
Yeah.
weird.
And I do like that the remake expanded on the characters a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and changed them a bit.
Yeah, and the effects were great.
hmm
I think that's what makes the movie work so well.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I love the Blob. The Blob is its own character. Like,
Yes.
I guess in the first one, the Blob is too. It's a piece of hard candy that rolls around.
It's like
But-
rubber.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
tire and rubber. It's just
Well,
there.
But in this
raspberry
one-
jelly, raspberry jam. They just-
But this is what happens, people, when you do a remake 30 years later instead of 5 or 10 years later.
Right.
yeah,
Technology.
Your
is-
character, things can evolve. And this
Right.
Blob was ready for some kung fu fighting. It was ready
Oh,
to
dude.
like slap you in the face. It was ready to like poke you in places you didn't want to be poked, or just like spread out like a blanket and fucking drown you. This Blob was ready.
This remake is how you should do remake. Like I said, if you're going to change
Yeah.
things, like you change them just enough
Yeah.
and add some stuff.
You pay respect,
Yes,
but you
I
don't shit on it.
personally would have liked if the Blob was a little more red versus pale pink bubble gum.
I love that.
No, I love the pink, especially in the 80s.
I love
in the
it.
80s, that's it. It should be pink or slime green, like no other way. Those were the two
I
colors.
love it because there's nothing else that looks like that.
Right.
Right.
And I love how they make the Blob in this one. When it touches your skin,
It
you start
burns.
smoking
Yeah.
and burning. Like
Yeah.
it's like it starts killing you before it got you. Like in the
Oh,
other
when
one,
they
it's just
pull
like-
the blanket off the old man and he's just like lower half is gone and
Yeah,
just smoking
like
and
the-
sizzling.
in the 58, like we see the Blob consume people, but we don't know, like we don't see skeletal remains floating around inside
Right.
the 58 Blob.
Although a little bit of continuity error is, since it burns everything, does it burn it on purpose and doesn't burn things when it doesn't want to burn them?
Well, maybe it's the
Hey,
flesh.
Yeah.
we're not talking logic.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. We
We
don't,
don't talk-
details.
We don't talk plot holes in these kinds of movies.
Right.
We talk plot holes in A24 films. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so then, so I know we're filleting these movies, but do we think that? I think it was a better choice to focus on Shawnee than Kevin Dillon because his character fucking was annoying.
That
I think all the men in this movie were real.
They're all
I actually like the cop the best, the one who wanted to date the waitress.
you mean Dale from The Walking
yeah,
Dead?
it's Dale.
Oh, is that?
Yep.
Justice for Dale.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was
Yep.
actually likable. Like he asked her out in a nice way, was excited about it. He let he let the bad kid go because he was like, man, like not that
You
bad.
guys are
And then
harassing him.
Yeah,
Stop it.
just
Lay off.
misunderstood.
he was rational when the government, like he was the most rational one in the movie. Whereas the first one, the cops were just fucking dicks, in my opinion.
Most of them. Well, the
The one was okay,
the
but
chief,
still,
he's like, hey,
Sure.
yeah, he's all right, but
he was,
no,
but they're still
yeah, I
like,
agree.
you guys are crazy. And one of my biggest it's not a pet peeve, but I have like a weird empathy or like, I don't know, some sort of emotional thing. But like, I don't watch movies where everyone else knows what's going on and one person doesn't know, or movies where one person's telling the truth and everyone thinks they're lying. Like those movies, like make me
you.
not want to watch the movie. And
there is a word for that. I forgot what it is because it's also it has specifically to do with the audience watching the movie. Like the reason why you don't like it is it's what is it called?
Gaslighting.
No, I don't fucking
Mhm.
know. But it's
Yeah, that.
but there's a reason why those movies are usually not liked. It's because the audience like you who are watching it are offended by it because it's offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a heist movie or anything else, or like interesting or like detective, I want to know everything. But if it's where like one person is the victim of everybody else being dumbasses, I don't like that.
Right. Well, it's funny that you say Kevin Dillon, like his character. It's mostly because of his fucking dialogue. His dialogue in there with these
Oh, it's so bad.
stupid one-liners,
Yeah.
that bugged me.
No, they tried to make him a badass, but he wasn't
They
a
tried to make him
badass.
James Dean, and he's not.
Yeah,
Right.
and he's not.
And it's
No,
not.
he's always been the lesser Dylan until he was in Entourage, and then he finally found his groove
Yeah,
as
but
the
even that one,
person
he
who was
plays
always
a douchebag.
second best. Exactly. And the second best that's always trying to come up, which is probably what he really is.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he's
buddy,
definitely-
if you're listening.
He's probably not right. He's probably not. He's either playing himself and everything, or he's not as good as an
No.
actor, and he's playing the opposite of
No.
himself.
I will
Right.
say, from seeing him hit the panel, he's actually like a normal guy.
Okay, then
Oh, good to hear.
He's typecasted into
He's
this role.
typecast.
He's
Yeah.
he's like a normal guy that is, a little bit macho,
Yeah,
but not like an asshole.
right. So he's typecasted, and the
Right.
dialogue that was written for him is douchey.
Right.
That's what
Which, if you have a little bit of asshole in you, you can amp that up.
Well,
and-
maybe they were trying to go for like that, like
well, he's a troubled teen. I'm misunderstood, but
Yeah,
the
but-
dialogue was just so bad.
what's fucking what am I thinking? Like a John McClane vibe.
Right,
Maybe they're trying to
right,
make him like
right.
a lovable asshole kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
The
You know.
Sure.
the other character that I loved and hated was the priest.
Oh,
He works as a character alone, the weird religious priest dude. I can dig the character. In the movie, not necessarily so much, because it's just kind of like out of left field.
Mm.
Oh, now you're like a religious zealot. All of a
Mhm.
sudden, you have this epiphany that, and then you take the blob and you're in a fucking desert.
Yeah, it just seemed like another thing to add to the story.
Right.
Like it was more like probably something that he wrote in that he was like, I couldn't write this in the 50s, but I wanted to.
Right,
You know.
right.
I mean, I would have rather that have a story arc than the government thing. But that's probably only because a lot of stuff in the 80s
Well,
had the government
And the
thing.
government thing is such a huge part of the story.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's
Well, and that time period,
Yeah.
totally.
Right.
that's another critique I have is again, a good twist and it works in the movie, but because of the twist and the new wrinkle in it, it does make the movie drag a little bit because it gets too involved. Yeah.
This one's too long for me.
Right.
This one, even though it was an hour and a half, I feel like it could have been like a good 62 minutes.
It feels longer
if they took
because
5 minutes off the beginning and about 5 to 10 minutes off of like the government shit,
right.
it could have we when we're in the tunnel scene in the sewer is where the movie is like thriving.
Yeah.
And
Did you know
Mhm.
that Bill Moseley was in there? Was one of the guys?
oh really?
Yeah.
So I looked for him, but I didn't know who it
He's-
was because
And
I knew he's in it.
it's towards the end, right? Like 5
Is he the one
minutes.
left to die down there?
Yeah, he's the one who's like up against the wall and he's having a
Okay,
conversation with Flag.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was him, but I wasn't totally sure. I knew he was one of the military guys. I just
Right.
wasn't sure
It's
where.
hard to see with their ET gear on.
Yeah. But the government thing, for me, while I do like it, it turns what could have been a good sci-fi movie into it's a man-made thing. It's not an alien. That's
Yeah.
that's like the one critique I have. The biggest one of this remake is if it was just an alien from space that came to Earth and is fucking shit up, would be awesome. The
Mm,
government twist and making it equally as awesome for the time.
it doesn't ruin it for me either way.
It doesn't. No, it definitely doesn't ruin
It
it
also
for me.
creates it also lends itself to the story of we need bodies to die.
Right.
Like we need to like kill people that aren't just innocent people, and so people feel less bad about killing
Right.
the government
But-
people.
Like Juliet was saying, for me, like I'm a little bit jaded on the government stuff because, yeah, obviously.
Right.
So it works, and I love it in this movie. If it wasn't in this movie, I'd probably like it
Right.
even better. But it is what.
I thought this movie. It's weird because we're talking about it right now, and I feel like nobody celebrates the Blob '88.
Not as much as they should. It's like Silver Bullet. Like more people should be into the '88 Blob.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because it's.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because it's so similar to like all the other things we're talking about, like the government conspiracy thing. Because it in like I love the stuff, but the Blob '88 is better than the stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely a better
And-
written.
Really?
Yeah, the
I
stuff.
think I like the stuff better.
It might be a little bit more original, but
Maybe because it was sillier.
it's
Yeah.
definitely sillier. But yeah, like there is something about the Blob '88 that like also doesn't get celebrated enough with their effects. Like the Blob looks so good in that movie.
The Blob
and you
looks
could
good.
not do it now because they would CGI it and it would look like shit. Like,
Right.
there's no way we have come so far. Think about it. We're talking about '88 Blob from '98, 2008, 2018. We're almost 40 years from '88 Blob, right? 40 years later, if we were to make the Blob again, like let's just say we made it, they're gonna CGI the whole thing, right? It's not gonna look good.
Unless
And-
unless Phil Tippett did it, because he would use practical effects and like stop motion stuff, which would be amazing.
Right, but we wouldn't do that. They would not let. They wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So do you
Yeah.
guys want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
And 'cause I'm a
nerd.
No, because I'm a nerd. So I did the math on this. So apparently on the original, Steve McQueen was offered either $2,500 or 10% of the profits. And he decided to take the $2,500 because he didn't think it would do anything.
2,500.
2,500. So I just
10
looked.
packs of Luckies.
Yeah. So I just looked it up, and the budget was 110,000, but they made 4 million. He would have made almost $400,000, and instead he made $2,500,
Sucker.
What an idiot.
and he didn't have any residuals.
Oh, so he loves the Blob.
I mean, I think he's dead, but yeah.
Well, he loves the
Loved. Past tense.
Yeah, his family is real happy about that. His estate is just clearly super psyched. His son was actually asked to play the role Paul, I think, right? Or is
damn.
Paul the first one? And he said no because he'll never play a role or be in a remake of the movie his dad did. And I'm like, okay, so apparently the McQueen family are really fucking dumb and don't like making any money. So
Yeah.
if you are relatives of theirs, I think that you should seek a financial advisor or some sort of consultant before you make any decisions on any contract or anything you're thinking about doing or not doing, because clearly there's problems here.
Speaking of Paul, he's the nicest character, the most like one of the most genuine people in the movie, which is why the '88 rules, and they just kill him off
So quick.
Oh, dude.
Quickly.
Yeah,
so
so
quick.
quick.
And like
But that's a big
horrifically.
That's a big swerve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you're meant to. You think that he's the guy, right? Like it's pretty quick.
Mhm.
yeah.
I know.
You think
I love that though about it.
absolutely.
It's so
You
good.
think he's gonna last a little longer than that,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
but that
It's
is
like the Drew Barrymore Scream thing. Like that's the best thing you can do is like kind of get you attached or be excited about someone and then be like, nope.
Well, and that one holds like a different level of water, right? Because she's
Well-
like a bigger
Mhm.
celebrity, so like they're not
Sure.
gonna kill her off.
right.
But it's the same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
we're focusing on somebody
Well,
at the
his-
beginning of the movie. They should be making it at least halfway.
his
Yeah, they're a
death,
good guy.
his death, because they would show that in the fucking trailer. I remember this trailer
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I haven't.
from when I was young, and it was creepy as fuck.
Oh yeah, that was like the one that got you hooked.
Yeah, and you see him with his face getting pulled back inside
Yeah.
the blob. Always freaked me out. This has so many good kill scenes.
Does anybody have the numbers of
Oh,
this movie?
I love that was what I just said. 110,000 was the budget, and it's done 4 million.
No, for the 88.
Oh,
10 million. We know it's a 10 million budget. I know that. Because remember, it was rumored to be 15, like you were saying.
Right.
Because I remember hearing that too. But it must have made a decent.
It did 8.2 million worldwide.
That's not good.
Against 8.2 million, but it had a 10 million budget. Yeah, no, it's not good. It lost money. The film was considered a box office failure despite generally positive reviews.
It definitely made good WPIX money though.
Yeah. Which is so crazy.
Opening weekend was 2.6 million. Oh yeah, it did bad.
I feel like it being 1988 was probably towards the end of your traditional sci-fi horror monster movie.
Yeah.
And it started getting into the more
Well, and a lot of stuff similar to it had come out.
right, like slasher stuff.
Like 86 especially was a big year for that kind of stuff.
So maybe this is why this movie is not celebrated as much either, because it bombed so bad that maybe not a lot of people saw it.
I don't think a lot of people saw it. I think a lot of people know it.
I didn't, and I like rented every fucking horror movie I could see, and oddly enough, started alphabetically at the VHS store. So that means I skipped this one.
Like I think that this probably gets lumped in with like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, like all those kind of those 80s like silly monster movies, right?
Well, yeah,
maybe, but it wasn't even that silly. I mean, it's silly, but it's not.
No, it's like
as campy as a lot of maybe, and that was the thing too, because a lot of those movies were either like super gory or super campy, and this kind of like hits the middle of that.
Right.
Definitely does.
And like I said, it's by that time you have however many Friday the 13th, you have however many.
Oh, that's true.
A Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Right. All right. We're already like beating a dead horse at that point.
Right. And again, it's not a slasher monster guy. It's a blob.
Right.
And people already know it's a remake. So, but I absolutely remember.
And I think the
trailer,
the original one only being 30 years earlier.
Right.
It's in people's minds of being meh.
Especially having Steve McQueen in it too.
Right.
Like it, people knew of it.
People think that the 50s one is meh. Like, well, why would we see this remake
Plus,
of this one?
Kevin Dillon, not the Dylan most people wanted at the time, So I'm sure there was reasons, but it's surprising that it didn't do as well as it did, or as I think it should have.
It's also interesting that both Kevin Dillon and Shawnee didn't like go on to like stronger careers right out of it. Like they didn't really do. I mean, what did you said? She did summer camp or summer school.
Yeah,
but that was before this.
Yeah, it was before that.
Well, other stuff she did was before this.
The Stand was after this.
Oh, okay. That's the TV stand,
the TV,
right?
yeah. And she was in just random stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
So. She's like the actress that would do like 2 episodes of a sitcom. Like every sitcom, she did Silver Spoons, I think Growing Pains, like all those. She'd be like a cameo actress.
And then Kevin Dillon did what? Nothing until Entourage?
No, he
did stuff.
He did stuff. Nothing that's anything super memorable. I mean, I'm sure there is stuff, but
yeah. We're probably forgetting the big one.
I remember Kevin Dillon.
He did
from
Platoon, guys.
Oh, Platoon.
Oh.
Yeah, Denny Mao.
Yeah. I was like, he did some memorable stuff.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
That fucking movie. Ooh. Oh, he was in that one movie with Alicia Silverstone. It came out around the same time as the Mark Wahlberg one, and it was almost
the same. He played.
I think he was like a detective. Something about crime.
Did he have a mullet? A fake mullet?
No, he had short hair.
Son of a bitch. I forgot to talk about this in horror news. Before we get to which one we like better and deciding who wins this remake rumble. So my dream, Oubliette, flashback to horror news.
Yeah.
So I had this crazy ass dream, right?
Okay.
Okay. follow me. I'll try and make this concise but effective. My friend dies, right? And I go to the
What
wake.
friend?
One of my friends I grew up with back home.
So like a real person, not
Real
like a...
real person. Still alive though. Still alive. So I go to like the viewing and then it's in this really fancy like modern home, not like the multiple story homes, but like the flat kind of compoundy looking homes. They have like, here's the fucking tennis court, here's the indoor swimming pool type thing.
Sure, yeah.
So I go there, only I end up talking to my friend who's not dead. So it automatically changes to some other friend that's dead, but he's there and he's telling me why he got so big, which in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you're not really much bigger than you were when we were, young, but we're like 30 years older or whatever, you gain a little bit of weight.
Okay.
So he continues to tell me the reason why he got big is because his girlfriend was having sex with him and pegging him. And now he's a little bit gay.
And because he's gay, he's big.
No.
God, have you been watching White Lotus?
Dude, I have no idea.
Sorry, go on.
No, I haven't.
No spoilers.
But he says, yeah, so I'm a little bit gay now and I'm dating this guy.
Uh-huh.
And in my head, I'm thinking,
This is your dream?
this is my dream. In my head, I'm thinking, that's fine, like whatever. But how's that make you bigger,
Sure.
right? So
Because he's filled with semen.
I guess
I know the answer.
he's getting blobbed out.
Globbed.
So fast forward right away to, okay, everyone's kind of adjourned because everyone was staying there, like all our high school friends and everybody, and staying in these different rooms. And
Okay.
I'm perusing the compound, and oh look, there's a swimming pool here.
Are
for
you
people.
you now or are you high school you?
Me now?
Okay.
This is us current time, and like Bai Ling's there for some reason. I mean, I have a
Oh yeah, why? I
like-
mean, why not?
From The Crow?
Yeah. I love Bai Ling because she's nuts. So maybe she popped in there.
Totally.
Anyway, and
Uh-huh.
some other celebrities that I
What
can't.
year is it?
You need to feel
No.
safe, you
Yeah.
know. So
Some other celebrities are going on. I can't remember them. Anyway, so fast forward a little bit more, and they're getting murdered. Like everyone in the pool's dead. So now me and a couple people forget about the whole fucking funeral viewing. That's like it never happened.
Okay.
Now it's in like this horror movie where me and a few other people are going room to room, telling all the guests, "There's a killer here. We got to get out. Everyone come to this place." So we're going around each room telling people, "Come on, come on, come on." It's chaos. Fast forward a little bit more. This compound now turns into some sort of like giant high school or airport with a cafeteria.
Okay.
2 cafeterias.
I know that place in my dream. I've had that place in my
Right?
dreams. Yeah, yeah.
So, we're trying to get everyone to come to this thing and to
Fortify
this one,
it.
right, this one specific place. And then I'm saying, everyone go to the cafeteria and we'll meet you there. And me and a bunch of other people are going to go find the killer. Right. So, but there's 2 cafeterias. Don't go to that one. Go to the other one. Cause that one, everyone's dead there. So
Jesus
go to this
Christ.
one.
Did you write this
Multiple
down?
cafeterias.
No. So they start going to the good cafeteria, and me and my friends or whoever are going to go get the killer. And I'm like, yeah, come on, guys. With the help of some cartoon and comic book characters, as I look behind, they're running with me. So it's He-Man stuff, some Thundercats. Dude, I don't know.
You had non-human things
Yes.
in your dream?
It was like Cool World, like Brad Pitt with
yeah.
animation.
Who Framed
Yeah,
Roger
we know
Rabbit?
Right. So then as I'm running down this
The
long
new Chip and Dale movie.
yeah,
So
Space
out.
Jam?
this long
Mhm.
corridor, seemingly like a
Mary
walkway
Poppins.
for like an airport.
Mm-hmm.
Out into the city, it turns into
Bedknobs and broomsticks.
it
Go on.
turns into like I'm out into the city, and now there's this giant comic book. It's the Punisher, but like a possessed Punisher. It's like it turned into a what if Marvel comic. Like what if
Mm-hmm.
these Marvel characters were
Yeah,
possessed
they have
by?
a TV show with that, right?
I
Did you
no.
tell your
They
therapist
have
this
a
dream?
cartoon TV show. It's amazing. For the what ifs.
Oh really? No, I did not
Yeah.
know that.
They're good.
So anyway,
Wait, don't get me lost.
yeah. So he's
Don't tell me
like
what to do, Mike.
3 stories tall,
Fuck, dude.
and he's grabbing all these other cartoon and comic book characters that are supposed
The
to be
Punisher?
yes
Okay.
out trying to stop the evil. It almost feels like an Evil Dead have possessed Like the Deadites have possessed all these other comic book characters, but he's grabbing these, other smaller comic book characters and just crushing them and saying all this weird, like evil shit, like personal.
The people in the cafeteria are long gone at this point.
Oh yeah, that doesn't exist.
Was there any kind of like arousal or sexual feelings during the stream?
None.
Okay. What were you watching before this?
Weird.
Nothing.
You were watching something.
No, I wasn't watching anything actually.
Reading?
Nope.
Okay, so
bummed out.
So giant
stress.
Punisher.
Yeah, giant Punisher, Deadite Punisher.
And then how did it end?
It just ended. It ended.
There?
Yeah. And then I woke up going, "What the fuck did I just dream?"
What did this have to do with horror news? You said this has to do with horror news.
I was going to talk about it in horror news because it had everything from pegging to murderers in the house.
Maybe you want to be pegged and choked.
Dude, I don't know. I just kept looking at my friend going, thinking, what's
the look you just gave him after you said he wants to get pegged and choked is not okay.
Which, sure, man, if that's what you're into.
There's like deep things coming out of you in this dream.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you wake up scared or just like, what
the
fuck?
I just woke up going, what the fuck? Why? Like almost wanting to.
I just picture you now running with the Avengers of everybody.
It was like.
I just picture like Yosemite Sam.
So many things.
Like Porky Pig running behind you.
It felt like that.
Porky Pig with a strap on.
And they would as they would run, like they had ball, like their lower half was a ball, like speeding, and it was like their torso. It was kinds of fucking
like a
weird.
dust.
Yes.
Like a sonic spin.
Yeah.
Did you eat moldy bread or something?
I took my vitamins before bed, but that was it.
I mean, did you eat something that may have been past its expiry?
No.
What day was it?
Sure.
Yes. Yesterday. Last night.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
What's the effect I have on
Have you had your water tested recently?
Yeah, I don't know. It was so weird. It was one of those dreams where as you're living it, you're going, what the fuck is going on?
Like when you were subconsciously recognizing what was happening while it was happening?
Especially talking to my friend, and he's telling me this, and I'm thinking, that's cool and all. Like,
did you tell your friend this?
No, okay. I should be like, hey man, is there anything you want to get off your chest lately? Like,
came to me in a dream.
What you should do.
Call him now.
Be like, hey.
I would contact that friend.
Do it on air.
Right.
Do it on
radio. He might be dead now.
Yeah, he's asleep by now.
Oh, damn.
East Coast time.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was so weird. I'm just thinking, what does that have to do with you gaining a little bit of weight? Like, it's cool you got a boyfriend now, and your girlfriend too was banging you in the butt, but
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So whatever. Anyway, back to the back to the yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who wins the Rumble?
Well, we'll see. We've done this a few different ways. Almost every time
I've never been here for a Rumble. How do we? Do we count as three?
Well, no, there's
over the top rope.
There's
we all punch each other in the face.
There's at times.
How are we gonna do that?
At times we've rated by candy corns each movie, and then added them up and did the thing.
Okay,
but also you can never really know because someone might give it a crazy high score, and everyone else might have mid-level scores.
Sure.
So it fucks everything up.
That's only if someone's being a dick.
Right. We've also done it as just we each pick our favorite, and whichever is
right.
The most.
Sure.
That's one of which I figure that's probably the best way to do it.
Remake Rumble is not really a candy corn kind of game.
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay, fair enough.
It's its own breed.
Oubliette, since you're so far away, your favorite.
Ooh,
who wins the Rumble?
It's rub my hands together. Can't hear it. It's a close match. Simplicity of the 50s. Everyone looks like they're 80 years old. It's pretty funny. There's a hard candy blob that's could never move fast enough to actually kill anyone. You would have to pick it up to get hurt by it.
When it gets that guy's hand, though, it looks hard.
But I have to say, their lack of ability to want to save a fucking dog, big red mark. Big red mark.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even into people that much, but their lack of ability to want to save people locked in a diner that's on fire. Red mark. But then you have the one in the 80s that does the trope of the government fucks everything up. But Also, the government kind of does fuck everything.
Exactly.
It doesn't bother me that much. The hazmat suits, I've seen them in a million movies. Throw one more in, no big deal. Blob man created, I don't know. I don't know that we're smart enough to create something as beautiful as that pink, glowy, slimy essence.
Pink opaque.
Yeah.
Kevin Dillon's wig was a bad idea.
Bad idea.
Badass.
Very out of
About
place.
that.
It really was out of place, though.
And it was never groomed. I know he's
Mm-mm.
supposed to be like a rebel or whatever,
It was like a permed mullet
It
too.
didn't really blow
Yeah.
well in the wind of his
Weird.
motorcycle.
It was really just weird. And the guy is like kind of a bad guy on the motorcycle. His hair should be just look better.
Right.
I agree.
It
It needs to be more like
But-
Lorenzo Lamas and Renegade.
Yes.
yes. So as I appreciate both of them, and I think the first one is so important in creating this, or like having a mark in creating this kind of movie, I think I like the 80s one better.
Okay. Respectable.
That is respectable.
Gucci T.
Yeah, so this is where I have a hard part. This is hard for me because
We're gonna make you guys work this out with us.
it's hard for these things because so I've never been part of a rumble like this, and so my brain
It's a lot.
My brain is like, well, Gucci, you like the 80s one better for all the reasons why, Oob said, but it wouldn't exist without the 50s one, and the 51 isn't bad, if it's good for the time, and it was enjoyable, and you watched it recently and you didn't hate it, which could have been possible for something that's old. But if we just take it by the name of the movie, the Blob of the 80s is so
a blob.
cool. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a blob, and it's so horror, practical effects, and sci-fi. And God, I think I would watch any movie if that blob was the villain in it. And even if they didn't call it the Blob, be like, oh, this movie is called, it's A24 is like, this is the sneaker. And like A24, the sneaker, it's like some kid and he has like a fucked up family and like, fucking he finds some like primordial ooze and like fucking, Bohemian Grove. And it's like fucking
No, I think
it's-
you're right. I think like to me, like blobby is an adjective, and if I use the adjective blobby, I would think of that blob,
yeah.
not the one in the 50s.
No, I would think of like when I think of Blob, I think of the one from the 80s.
Or if I threatened a kid, like the blob's gonna get you. Well, from the 80s.
yeah.
The 50s one is definitely more cute.
Yeah.
It's a cute blob.
That's cute. It's quaint.
I don't even know if it's cute. It's like a weird science project hard candy.
So yeah, I'm going with 80s one, like kind of no, like hands down.
Ah,
Yeah, hands down.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
damn.
Now E, because he has oppositional defiance disorder, is going to go with one from the 50s.
Is that a real
He
thing?
has
Because I think
to.
my wife has it. Is it a real thing?
It is a
That's her
real,
just being a
real,
woman.
very real thing. It's
We
a
had
very
this
real
argument about
thing.
the sunset the other night. How the sunset in the West Coast is different than the sunset from the West Coast of Florida, looking into the Gulf of Mexico. So I think she has this disorder. What's it called again? So I can,
Oppositional defiance disorder, and don't ever tell a woman she has it because your life will be swiftly made.
she just
much
thinks because
more
she's a doctor that
hard.
she's smarter about
Uh-huh.
these things, but she's not.
I mean, she probably is, but okay.
Oh,
My
no.
wife is smarter than me in 99% of the things. However, the things that she's wrong about, she's wrong
Wrong.
about.
Okay.
I support that. Okay.
I'm not taking sides. So
You don't have to. You just need to describe the word again.
oppositional defiance disorder.
I was joking, but
All right.
yeah, I got it. I'm never going to mention it to her. I don't want to. I want to have a home to go back. I'll be living here with Eve.
Yeah,
don't
whatever.
do it.
Party, let's get weird. Let's get weird. So, 1958. I do love, much like Oubliette, the simplicity of it. I do love the fact that it was just a blob, an alien blob, and not the government making it. Just because I love monsters.
Sure.
Not man-made, like alien monsters, fucking cool.
So,
They're my favorite.
do you love Godzilla?
Yeah,
Godzilla is man-made.
Yeah, but not intentionally.
Neither was the Blob.
No, yeah. In the 80s one, it was a
No, wasn't it? Like
it was a bioweapon. No, it was a bioweapon.
It was a bioweapon.
They sent it up into space to like ferment, and then it fell.
Oh,
back
okay,
down.
right. Okay,
So, but again, in the context of the 88 Blob, works.
Sure.
So I like it in that context. The effects for the 58 one, also great.
sure.
Awesome drive-in movie. 88.
Also,
Also-
Godzilla's not man-made, but whatever. We'll go on.
We
Yeah. No, not intentionally.
not intentionally.
Yeah, but 88 effects, awesome. Super awesome.
Yeah.
Fun movie.
He was awakened or mutated by the nuclear bomb.
Right,
But go
right.
on.
Right. Exactly. So
He
not
existed.
Yeah.
Sure.
He
was
existed
changed.
before that.
He was
Yeah.
changed.
Okay.
yeah.
So let's just we're good.
Ah, this is-
Fine.
Sorry, go on.
Fine.
the slimmest of margins. I'm gonna have to go with
He's gonna go with the 50s.
the 1988 Blob.
Oh my god!
A flawless victory.
Love clapping over here. Holy shit!
So if I did, because I did a candy corn score,
It's a
as
Christmas
Oh,
miracle,
nice.
guys.
So the 58 one got a 3 1/4 candy corns,
Wow.
Wow, that's high.
and the 88 got a
3 and a
3.5.
3.5, yeah.
And it could go either way. There was just because both movies, they're super similar because they both drag a little bit in certain spots.
Mhm.
I can't believe they were both 3s for you.
Yeah. I think as far as a 50s movie, like a sci-fi
Yeah,
alien.
you're rating it on a curved scale for the time period. You have to. a little
Yeah,
bit.
that too. And it's got a bunch of iconic scenes. It's got an iconic monster. Like I love the monster in both.
Mhm.
And it's a fun movie. They're both fun movies. So it's
One has a badass 80s ballad, and
Right.
one has Beware of the Blob.
Oh, if this was about the soundtrack
Oh,
or the
yeah.
theme song,
Yeah.
these would have won.
It'd be 3 the other way.
But yeah, the 88 one, I just think it's updated enough. There's more action in it, so it's not as simple. There's more, more bells and whistles, and I think it did a remake as well as you could do a remake by changing a little bit of stuff, but keeping the same feel and essence of the movie, even though you change some stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's
Mhm.
remakes that we all have seen, especially nowadays, where they try and keep the vibe, but it's like they lose the soul. They change stuff so much that it loses the soul of the movie. Where the 88 keeps, you're like, this is the Blob.
Yeah.
If the Blob was made in 1988,
It has to be part of the reason of it being the same writer.
right? Well, yeah,
right?
that
Like
too.
I feel like that is a major part.
Oh, totally. Especially the technology was better. And that's the thing. Remakes should always be, even if you want to change a little bit of stuff, should just be the original remade with better effects
Sure.
and better
Mhm.
technology.
Stuff that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Stuff that they couldn't do.
Right.
Whether it was because of the time
Or the
whether
budget or
technology
whatever.
or like
Yeah.
where we were as a people.
Yeah. And so many remakes fail at that because they want to do reimaginings. Fucking The Wolfman. Or
Snow
Wolf-
White,
Snow White. All yeah. That fucking
that horror movie.
jeez. That girl is a horror movie.
So apparently that's been testing well. I'm curious.
Sure it has.
I mean, I'm not
Sure.
going to watch it. I haven't watched any of the live action.
That sounds like it was a put out article.
Uh-huh. This is
Because
it
I'm
was
not-
Vanity Fair.
I'm not into Disney for live action, so.
Who is?
Yeah, no. I'm sure it's
I mean, I like
trash.
Mary Poppins and I like Pete's Dragon.
It's true. It's true.
Those are old though.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People, Mr.
Yeah.
Boogedy. Those are all good. Freaky Friday, Terror
I-
Trap.
Fine. But
I just don't like the live action remakes of they're like literally the animated movies, but then they take out a couple things that might be.
You mean you
Right.
don't want to see
People mad.
Simba?
Yeah.
You don't want to see a
I know
real
that's
lion,
so weird.
a real fake lion.
The dink gets all mad and is like, "You can't have little people," blah, so they got to make them.
That's what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
they
but
had
we're
one
off
little
track.
person, and then the rest were CGI, and then all
Just
the little
like-
people were like, "You just took jobs away from little people," and I'm like, "Okay, so what do you want?
This is just like
Just
the
say
Wonka
what you
movie.
want in the beginning."
Yeah.
It's just like the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah.
Where they use that one little
Yeah.
person, they just CGI'd him everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. which was
Oh, yeah.
terrible. I'm like, I want Oompa Loompas.
I mean, that's a terrible movie, regardless of the
Right.
Oompa-Loompas.
But yeah.
But
Anyway, yeah. So Terry's first remake Rumble, a clean sweep. The
Kinda
Blob,
like-
1988.
I kind of like remake
Clean
rumbles.
motherfucking
Remake Rumbles can be
sweet.
fun. It can definitely be fun. We haven't done one in a long
Yeah.
time.
Nice
so.
treat. I feel like
No, it has been a
2025 is going to
while.
bring us a lot of them. Movies coming out.
Oh, there could definitely be a
Yeah,
lot
there
of
could
remake
be.
Rumbles.
So
But-
what do we? So I think the last episode we said we were going to do. We said the movies we were going to do. Right?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. No. Yeah. So you get to pick.
Yep, it's Terry's turn.
Didn't we pick it already?
No,
No, we
picked it
haven't. We have no
amongst
idea what we're
ourselves.
gonna do next.
We didn't announce it though.
I couldn't remember. That's what I was
No,
saying.
Yeah.
Did we
no,
announce-
we
I didn't know if
don't-
we announced the next couple.
We have
No.
no idea what we're gonna do. Tell
No,
us.
this is your pick, and you picked.
We're going to do Opus.
Yeah.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich being
I-
John Malkovich.
Yeah.
I
See that
love John Malkovich.
that's exactly how he
He's
talks.
so interesting.
It's
Being John Malkovich.
Opus is
Definitely a John Malkovich.
it's out March 14th. So whenever you listen to this, it's probably already out. Go see it. I don't know how long it's gonna be in the theater for. It
It
is
may
a
not be there anymore.
yeah, it's a Sundance movie that I remember you guys mentioned this. I didn't hear about this movie until it was mentioned on the podcast. We talked about it like a few months ago about it, like an upcoming movie.
Yeah.
I think Oob said it, and I think I looked it up. There wasn't even a trailer, and then the trailer dropped like maybe a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much in the trailer, but basically the synopsis for anybody who is going to see it and join us on this journey, and I think you should, is that it's basically about a avant-garde Lady Gaga, Elton John-esque
Elton John.
figure who has
Possibly Jared Leto
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
in the future.
Liberace.
Yep. Like, so, iconic Madonna vibe, Michael Jackson, sure. Like, very famous performer, singer who hasn't written an album or been seen from in 30 years, comes out of hiding and invites the media to his compound for his intimate listening experience. And cult-like things ensue. And I'm not
Yes.
spoiling anything because that is
Yeah, we can't say much more.
that's in the trailer and on the movie poster. But it stars a bunch of people, and John Malkovich is one of
Very
them.
famous people
Very.
that were curated. Probably one of the main actors.
Ooh, Malkovich.
But yeah, we're talking about Opus, and that'll be the next
And
one.
it's fabulous.
Yes.
It's a
just-
new movie.
It's great.
Me and
Mr.
Terry saw it
Holland's
together.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and
Just
Terry
prepare
saw it.
yourself for the wondrous.
It's a ride.
This is the first movie in a long time I went in really blind. I had no idea really what.
I went in, yeah. I watched the trailer, which a lot of times I don't, and that's it. And so yeah, we went in, yeah.
I didn't even see the trailer.
Yeah. I don't know if the trailer definitely gives a lot now that we saw it, but yeah, we're doing Opus, so go see it. It'll probably be streaming somewhere soon.
Yeah.
It's one of the 32,000 A24 movies coming out this year.
They're the only ones putting out movies into the theaters right now.
They've just decided no one else is
There's
putting
some
out
there's some
anything.
good previews. Well, I
Yeah.
had two.
Yeah.
Three. One about
How many did we have?
did you guys have the
would-
one
there
were
about
too many.
I did not. I wasn't even paying attention to them.
Yeah.
I was
Did
so
you guys
wrapped up
have
in
the
E's
ones
aura.
about like the underground like black jazz dance club?
Oh yeah. Me and the
The
vampire
Sinners?
one.
The Sinners.
Yeah, Sinners.
Why'd
Michael
you
B.
say
Jordan?
vampire? It's a
Michael B.
devil one,
Jordan?
I thought.
Michael B. Jordan.
No, they're vampires.
They've ruined it, like Abigail.
It's the devil. Why? They're playing Satan's music. That's not the devil that shows
You
up?
talking about the Michael B. Jordan movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, sinners.
Vampires.
Fuck you. It's
The
the
latest
devil.
trailer is vampires for sure.
Yeah. At least that's what it.
And that's what it's alluding to.
Yeah.
I know it's alluding to that, but I don't think it is. I think it's like the fallen angels and the devil.
Could be.
Oh, it very well could be.
Yeah.
I was
It's
getting
like a
vampire
crossroads kind of
Yeah.
movie. No.
I was definitely
No.
getting that. I said
Just
this.
because there's blood all over them and they ate someone doesn't mean they're a vampire.
vibes.
Fair enough.
It's nighttime.
Yeah.
They were saying
So
they,
what? Yeah,
I
they're
don't know.
playing devil's music, and they're not supposed to because it's rock and roll and jazz.
Maybe it's
And everyone knows jazz is what brings the devil out.
Yeah.
Once you start shaking your hips, the devil appears.
Yeah, I was not into that, and I said it to Terry at the time. I felt like they made this movie, and to me, it feels very minstrelly. Like they're like, we're gonna have like a predominantly black cast, but of course they're gonna be singing and dancing the whole time. Like I was like, ugh. Like that. It gave me a big ick.
First trailer dropped at the Super Bowl. I thought it looked really great. Second trailer dropped.
Oh, it is
Still
a
looked pretty
vampire
good.
movie.
The new trailer,
It says there's
totally
a greater
vampire
evil.
vibes.
Yeah, I was just
Okay,
like,
so apparently there are vampires in it, but there's a greater evil.
yeah,
That's the thing.
The head vampire.
Why did it give you an ick?
because
No, the first trailer was pretty good. Second trailer, it just too much info.
yeah,
Less is more.
like I said, for me, it felt like we're gonna make like this musical. It was just very typical of
They're
like,
not singing
yeah, there's a whole
that
bunch.
much. I mean, there is, but it's not like a full mute. Like the whole cast isn't singing.
There was a lot of dance numbers.
There was a lot of dance numbers, slow.
Of course, it's about the Jim Crow South and like the underground clubs.
But it gave me the that Elvis movie vibe, very stylized.
I don't
and,
know. I
like-
would never watch a movie about Elvis.
Like the Great Gatsby remake.
Yeah, it wasn't hidden.
Like
with
I'm
me.
afraid we're gonna get a dance scene with contemporary music.
Right. Yeah, it didn't give me
Like
like, oh hey, let's have actors act and write a good story.
There'll be a dance scene and Beyonce will be playing and
Right.
something like that.
That's what it gave to me.
I don't know. I was
But-
excited. I'm not now.
Yeah.
I mean, they said it was based on a Twilight Zone episode.
Well,
Oh,
lots of
now
things
you
are-
guys are.
No, I mean, lots of things are based on lots of things that turn out to be garbage.
Mhm.
This trailer just did not look good.
It didn't. It made me actually like it less.
Yeah.
But what's the other one with John Lithgow? Jenny Penn?
Oh
Jeremy
yeah,
Penn?
yeah.
It's out right now.
The role of Jenny Penn.
Another one that's playing in one theater.
I'm going to tell you what it's about right now.
What? Jenny Penn?
I've seen it, and I've only seen one trailer.
You saw it?
No, I have not seen it, and I've only seen one trailer. And I don't think John Lithgow exists. I think he is dementia. And he's a demon that when you start getting dementia, starts fucking with you until your brain's gone.
Could be.
Oh, I like that. Very Shyamalan.
Nah.
I think it's a parallel for dementia. And like, it's just showing you when you're in an old folks' home, like how your brain deteriorates and the things you see. But I do think that John Lithgow might actually be like a demon, and they're going to relate it to like a demon takes people's minds and like Satan takes you. And that's what dementia is.
Dementia, dementors, demons.
So it's either going to be a parallel to like dementia and the things you see, or or it could be either and you don't know. Kind of like The Dark and the Wicked and how there were parallels, but in a much more like sillier way.
I hope it's a killer doll.
It won't be.
Yeah, no.
It won't be.
I hope so.
It's
It's
A24. It's definitely.
Yeah.
It's about Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
I mean, they say in the synopsis it's about Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
Oh.
And in the clips, it's showing him in Jeffrey Rush's face going through the steps of what happens when you get dementia and how like everyone forgets about you and you forget everything. So like, I think he's a demon.
Yeah.
That's heavy. Probably good.
I like John Lithgow though. He's a good actor.
He's the best part of Dexter.
No, I do too. And maybe that's not what it is, but I think that's what it is. And maybe it's the doll and the name of the doll that like other looking things have, but it's always kind of that like an incantation of something that they see when they get dementia, or that it is like a demon.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, as long as it's okay, which it might just be okay.
I haven't seen. I know one's going to the movies right now. I don't know anybody who's seen it,
dude.
I think we're the three people going to the movies. Right
These movies that they like, they put in only specific types of theaters. Like, oh, it's going to be an AMC, or this is going to be in Cinemark, or whatever. Like, dude, just fucking release the movie so we all can see it.
I'm not into the business of this. What is the reasoning? If a movie, if AMC makes the movie, that they would be releasing more AMC made movies, like you know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, beats me.
Like Sony. So Sony now owns. They own Alamo Drafthouse.
Right.
So I'm assuming that means all
Because
Sony
Tim Lee
movies.
just sold off, right?
Yeah, he restructured Chapter 11, I think, after the pandemic, and then he just sold it to Sony. But apparently, it's like a pretty strict like sale. Like they have to keep it like the Alamo Drafthouse.
Right. Well, it's probably because all these crazy, like, giant movie theaters mega theaters that they build are so expensive that
To build a movie theater?
Yeah, and to just like fund it, that's why
rent,
everything's fucking
the rent
$300 to eat a box of popcorn.
Yeah, well, yeah, and also like when a movie theater closes, it just becomes a different movie theater because nobody can take over that space and turn it into anything.
Right.
Like
mine is so cheap. It's like $10 a ticket, and they give me free popcorn and like 20% back if I use the app.
Dude, that's awesome.
And it's a brand new theater.
What's it called?
It's NCG. It's weird because they don't have any other ones in New York. This is the only one. But I heard they were going to expand more. But yeah, it's weird. It's like every time I go to buy a ticket on the app, I have like between like a $2 and a $10 credit. So I just keep applying it, and then they send you like loyalty points. So like every 4 times I buy popcorn, they'll send me like a free 170-ounce popcorn.
You're a valued customer.
Yeah,
I guess because nobody's going anywhere, but I don't know how. I mean, I guess the only reason they're making money is because there's nobody that like cleans the bathrooms or like a ticket person or like anyone. I think when I go in the theater now, it's like one person working the ticket counter, and that's
like a Roomba, an army of Roombas.
And they're probably running upstairs to like start the movies, or maybe it's automated now.
I mean, that's where it's at.
I think I was thinking about that too. I think they're automated, the movies.
I think that they have to be, because even not this particular theater, but other ones I've gone to, other than local, like small independent theaters,
those are where
there's almost no staff anymore.
The small,
and I think that's the only reason they're making it by.
Because there's no staff. Yeah, the independent theaters, there's always a staff because they have to know how to use the real machines.
Right.
So
yeah, the one down the block here, I mean, there's definitely a staff. It's like a bunch of high school kids and older people.
Yeah.
But that's, the small town theater, the local theater, that's where it's at.
Oh,
These
yeah.
big ones.
But by me, there's a couple decent big ones. There's one that does like 9 a.m. movies, which is just great.
Yeah.
Like you could go at any time. It's a Regal, I think. So it's like it gets a decent amount of stuff, and all day long. The Alamo by me only has like 4 theaters, and they only do like 2 show times a day now, unless it's the weekend. So it sucks because it's like you could see a 4 o'clock movie or a 7 o'clock movie, and then after that, you're kind of screwed. So it's like, fuck, it's a tough time.
How the one it was going to be by the Italian restaurant that we were going to take you to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it has shows maybe 3 movies, and it's, I think, mostly over the weekend.
Yeah.
And there's 4, not even 4 show times, maybe 3. 2. There's like a 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Right.
And that's it. And they don't get a lot of movies at all.
Right.
Nothing I'd rather see. That's the one that used to do all the old movies, like all the old sci-fi horror movies. But they don't do that anymore, so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. A lot of them will do that stuff like on Mondays. They do like all the horror or like old sci-fi stuff on Mondays.
Yeah. Huh.
All right, motherfuckers.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode, and a Remake Rumble episode at that, with Gucci T, Oubliette, and myself, Screamin E.
Go see Opus.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, for Opus. And check out both Blobs. Do not check out the 70s Blob, because that's fucking terrible.
The Return of the Blob?
Beware the Blob.
Beware of the Blob. It stinks.
It absolutely stinks.
That's a bad movie.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks. See you next time.
Some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Let's go touch tips.
Want some candy?
away from her, you bitch!
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Want some candy?